Welcome to the new TMZ Live, where we bring you inside our newsroom as our staff chases down today's stories in real time.
We have a bunch of big stories today.
Right.
And the first is Denise Richards has now responded to her divorce from her husband.
Right, and responded with some photos that are really gruesome. She says that she has been the victim of domestic violence at the hands of Aaron Pfeiffer's, her estranged husband, for several years now. And there are some really gruesome details that she has laid out in these documents, as well as producing some photos.
So the husband, remember, he filed for divorce right after the 4th of July
7th.
on that Monday.
And he
said
listed
that
July 4th.
July 4th was the date of separation. Something big happened on July 4th.
And now we know, because Denise details what happened on July 4th, and now we know why Aaron listed that as the date of separation. Has to do with an explosive fight that went down between them in Malibu. She says that basically it sounds like Aaron wanted her phone for some reason. She says that Aaron was determined to get my phone. He got in her face, according to Denise, and yelled at her, said a lot of profanities, demeaning her, and kept striking the bill of her hat, she said. She doesn't say that he actually struck her on that occasion.
But she says he attacked her.
Yes.
Over the phone. Do you know what is? Do you know
over
what's crazy about this? It is Diddy-esque, because that's what Diddy argued happened at the hotel in 2016 at the Intercontinental.
Right.
It's just weird that it happens on the heels.
So she says that fight started on July 4th. She actually leaves the condo, the townhouse where they were at that moment, goes to another one they have across the street. She's there, and then on July 5th, he shows up there again, and much of the same happens with a lot of insults. So that's what happened on July 4th. That's why he says July 4th is the date of separation. But there are a whole bunch of other allegations
She's saying
there
that
go back at least 3 years.
And can I tell you something? There are two things. One is that I remember early on in TMZ, and I believe this might have been 2005, when she filed for divorce from Charlie Sheen. Right after the divorce petition was filed, she filed a long response to this divorce where she outlined, I think it was like 100 pages, outlining all the things Charlie had done. And the weird thing about this is it's kind of repeated itself here.
What she's alleging Aaron did to her, this is from 2022. And she says that obviously he struck her.
Look at that. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He says he struck her in the eye with the heel of his palm while calling her a bleeping bitch.
So here's the thing that I'm wondering about. California is a no-fault state.
Yep.
In terms of the divorce, there are no kids, so it's not like it's a custody issue. It doesn't really, legally.
For the purposes of the divorce itself,
legally, it doesn't matter for the divorce.
That's right. But I mean, look, you can't fault her at all. She lays
I'm not faulting her. I'm just saying it's not relevant to the divorce.
Right, but she lays out a laundry list. I mean, attacking her with a towel rack, hitting her, like I said, both hands and devices, threatening to kill her if she called the police at any time. It's always one of these things we heard in the Cassie trial over and over again in the Twitter sphere, right? Why didn't you go to police? Why didn't you go to police? Well, this is one reason why somebody like Denise Richards doesn't go to police, if you believe her allegations are true. She says that he threatened to kill her if she went to the police.
Yeah, actually, on that July 4th incident, she said, there was a lot of that language also where he said, she said, I'm going to call the police. And according to her, Aaron said, go ahead and call the police. I will burn this place down. I will kill everyone.
I think that she included all this detail in the divorce, but obviously for a good reason. Tremendous bad blood between them. She wanted it to be known widely, and this was her opportunity to do that.
She did that with Charlie, too.
She did that with Charlie, too, right? I guess it goes back to your point, right? This is her, when she...
Although with Charlie, there were kids. And
Yes.
that could matter.
Obviously, this is what Denise has said, but Devin, I know you talked
So
to
we've been trying to get in touch
Aaron
with
this morning.
Aaron since the divorce, obviously, right?
Right.
So I reached out to him again this morning. Essentially, I believe he's going to be putting out a more in-depth thing, but he's obviously, for starters, just denying all the allegations, saying this is a conjured-up story, and she's trying to save her image, similar to what you were just saying. That's what he's saying, and that he has all the real evidence, whatever that means.
We now have some pretty stunning details now about the settlement between Justin Bieber and Scooter Braun. We told you that they have settled their differences. Justin owes Scooter around $31 million. This is a combination of money that Scooter's company fronted to pay off a loan that Justin owed to AEG, $26 million. And then another $5.5 million, which represents about half of commissions that Justin still owed Scooter. So we found out, they have settled this, and we told you that. Now the news, we found out that Justin doesn't have to pay the money under the terms of this settlement until the sale of Hailey's company, Rhode Beauty, is not only finalized, but funded, meaning until all that
Hailey
money
and
comes into
Justin-
their bank account,
Once Hailey and Justin get their money from the Rhode sale,
then he'll pay
pay.
the Scooter money back.
it's kind of like, what was the old line from Popeye?
I'll gladly pay your Tuesday for a hamburger today.
today.
But the reason they did it in this case is, look, we talked about this many times before. Justin, a couple of years ago was just flat broke. And he sold his music catalog for $200 million. Well, he had to borrow a credit card to play golf.
Right.
So he sold his music catalog a year and a half ago for $200 million. What we're told, Charlie, you know this too. We were told that even with that $200 million,
all of that money,
he doesn't have enough money to pay back this settlement.
Yeah, and so if you remember, Hailey sold her company, Rhode, for $1 billion. Look, she doesn't get all that money, but we're told that
there are other investors.
There's other investors. Actually, one of the investors is Justin himself, who's supposed to get about $50 million. So he can't pay back what he agreed with Scooter until all that money comes in. And once he does, then he'll, be squared out. But I think it's so ironic that his wife, Hailey, if it wasn't for her company, he wouldn't be able to pay back his debt.
I mean, it's true. The settlement is contingent on that sale going through and getting the money, which is going to take a month to 2 months, we're told. But even if Justin is going to get around $50 million, I'm told he gets about he had a 5% interest or something like that. Mm-hmm. So he'll get about $50 million. But remember, some of that goes to taxes.
Yeah.
And, that may not be enough money to actually pay back the full $31 million that he owes. And he's kind of relying on his wife's beauty company there.
Yeah,
Well,
and actually, since we broke this story this morning, Harvey, Hailey's team gave me a statement. They said the historic sale of Rhode is a huge accomplishment for Hailey and is completely separate from her husband and his business affairs.
What really stuns me is we know in 2022 he was flat broke. He sold his music catalog a year later. And you would think, okay, I just blew maybe up to $1 billion. I'm not going to do that again. But the $200 million is gone.
Because that's his lifestyle.
Hey guys, I have a quick comment from one of our YouTube live stream viewers.
They're asking if Charles and Harvey shop at the same place for their t-shirts.
This, by the way, this happens. No, we don't.
It happens
and this
all the
happens
time.
all the time. We end up wearing the same color shirt. By the way, look around. What are you talking about, Jackson?
You're
Jackson's got a black
Jackson's
shirt.
wearing no. Turn the camera. Jackson's wearing hold on. Jackson's wearing
You're going to break it.
And that's about
Harvey's
to be
going to break it.
No, Jackson.
Oh God. This is a disaster waiting to happen.
Well, no,
You're making Rob cringe
He's wearing
right now.
exactly what Charles is wearing.
Rob is cringing right now.
That shirt is about $200 less than the one you're wearing.
That's true.
Look behind you.
That's
Bet me.
No, I'm not betting you.
Look at the camera guy, all black.
Look at this.
Look at him.
Brendan's in black.
Cameron
Look
over
at
there.
Rob's
Rob's
over
in
here.
black.
Bob's in black.
Rob's on
Everybody's
black.
wearing black.
I've got on black. Prince got on black.
Anakin's wearing black. Branson's wearing black. Everybody's wearing black.
Branson's got on black.
Okay.
The shirts you guys are wearing.
Okay.
What?
That's a $300 shirt.
It's not a three.
This is 50.
I got on a Max B shirt. There's a difference.
Coming up.
The ESPYs were last night. It was brutal last night.
Shane Gillis went in on everybody. I mean, there was no punches held.
Caitlyn Clark, she and I have a lot in common. We're both whites from the Midwest who have nailed a bunch of threes.
Be right back.
The ESPYs were last night, and they always start with a comedian. Right. And the comedian kind of does a roast for 5 minutes, and it's usually just funny,
silly jokes,
but not necessarily brutal.
Yeah.
It was brutal last night.
Shane Gillis went in on everybody. I mean, there was no punches held. We're gonna place which part?
Do you have the video?
I think we're starting with
You gotta play.
We're starting with the Caitlyn Clark.
So the Caitlyn Clark.
Because you gotta remember that this is the ESPYs. This is the ESPYs after the WNBA has had an historic year. Caitlyn Clark is the toast of the entire league.
This is so funny. This is so funny. You gotta watch this.
Caitlyn Clark, she and I have a lot in common. We're both whites from the Midwest who have nailed a bunch of threes. When Caitlyn Clark retires from the WNBA, she's going to work at a Waffle House so she can continue doing what she loves most, fist fighting black women.
Okay. It's funny. It's funny.
It was fun. No, it is very funny. And if anyone's been to a Waffle House,
it's obviously the reference of her being bullied on the court by WNBA players. But he
hold on, bullied.
I mean, we've seen it.
She does. She gets ganged up on
every day.
She gets ganged up on.
So
when you're a great player,
it's jealousy.
He took those kind of small storylines and made them into these kind of big jokes, right? Like there was one about Simone Biles being short and having a lot of gold and basically referring to her as a leprechaun. There was jokes about Bill Belichick and his 24-year-old girlfriend and reading her a bookie and.
But the best joke of the night, has to do with the WNBA.
Yes.
This is hysterical. Watch this.
This is how you roast not just 1, 2, 3, 4 people.
The whole audience.
The entire audience.
Four-time WNBA All-Star Brittany Hicks is here. Give it up for Brittany, everybody. I'm joking around. That's my friend's wife. I knew none of you knew WNBA players.
That's
crazy. You clap for that.
Shane even said it from time to time. He was like, Disney's letting me do this. Can you guys believe it?
Shane killed.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And we talked about that in the morning meeting, right? Like, if he had done it a little more tame, you would have roasted him the other way. You'd be like, why did he not take more shots and all this stuff? I mean, and like we talked about as well, this was the headline of the ESPYs. There was no other headline. It was Shane.
We haven't talked about a single thing other than
who won an award.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander won like best athlete. The Eagles won best team, but who cared? I mean, this is what everybody's talking about.
Wait a minute, how did the Eagles win best team if they lost the Super Bowl?
No, they won the Super Bowl this year, yeah. They beat the Chiefs. Smashed.
The Chiefs, I was thinking of. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Simone Biles won some awards, but none of the awards got any sort of attention that the way this is getting, and that's what the ESPYs want, right? You want headlines and attention.
Yeah, because otherwise nobody would be talking about it the next day, and that's the whole point of doing these award shows. Right. By the way,
we have a comment. Roy Colin says that this has been the best ESPY monologue since Norm Macdonald.
Oh, wow.
That's Norm Macdonal is a legend.
I vaguely remember that.
Shane actually made a reference to Norm Macdonald in this. He made a Travis Hunter joke similar to Norm's Charles Woodson joke. He paid homage to him during the show. So
there was of course, there's an award show. There have to be an Epstein moment, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to hear it.
There was an Epstein moment.
Oh, here we go.
Actually, there was supposed to be an Epstein joke here, but as it got deleted. Probably deleted itself, right? Probably never existed, actually. Let's move on as a country and ignore that.
That's hysterical. Oh my God. He pulled that off too.
Yeah. Sure did.
Oh my gosh.
Jennifer Lopez finally addressed the thing that everyone talks about with her is, will she get married again? Because how many is she on now?
4. She finished 4.
The next would be her 5th.
Right.
And she said after she and Ben broke up that she was going to take some time. She wasn't going to be dating. She just wanted to learn more about herself. So last night she was performing in Spain.
In Spain.
Yeah. And
so there's a sign that somebody holds up in the audience.
Right. Which you probably sees frequently at her concerts.
J-Lo, marry me? I think I'm done with that. Yeah, I tried that a few times. Anyway.
You don't think she's shading Ben Affleck?
No, she's
No,
shading.
it's not a shade of Ben
It's
Affleck.
not shading.
You say, I already tried that before.
The
Sorry,
only-
guys.
It's self-awareness.
Okay.
The only thing I'm going to say is this. Yes, she definitely wanted that moment. Was it choreographed? That she wanted, and again, I'm not saying she did it as a shot at Ben, but she wanted to acknowledge the thing that people are thinking about her, right? So this was her way of sort of working it into the show. Or it could have been just completely natural, and that's just what was in her mind. Should J-Lo get married again?
She should not get married again.
You think she should not?
Who's figured? Do we know how many times has she?
Alexa did
she's been married 4
little
times,
research
right?
Yeah,
on
I've been really diving
J-Lo's
into this.
marriage
So I've
failures.
created quite the timeline. So she started her first marriage with Ojani Noah in 1997.
Ohani
Noah. Yeah.
Sorry, this is all new to me, so that's why I'm doing my research.
Ohani Noah.
Because
Just so you know,
much of this is before Alexa would
It
even.
is.
Ohani
It's
Noah
BA.
was either a waiter or a manager at a restaurant that she had been to,
He worked there.
and he worked there,
yeah.
and she almost immediately married him,
basically.
and it lasted
Only a year.
a year.
Very short-lived.
Okay, so that was the first marriage.
That was the
20 years
first
later.
marriage. And then second marriage was Chris Judd.
Who was a
and-
backup dancer for J-Lo.
Correct. Married
Right.
2 years. Next up is Mark Anthony, who they met collaborating on music in 1998, but didn't get married until 2004. They were together for 10 years and had twins in 2008.
And then there's Ben Affleck. But Ben Affleck was first time around. Ben Affleck was after Chris Judd, right?
Right.
Yeah.
After Chris
Was
Judd, they
after
were
Chris
engaged.
Judd.
'Cause they met
got
in
engaged. That fell
2001,
apart. Then she marries Mark Anthony. Then gets engaged to Alex Rodriguez.
Right.
And then that fell apart.
Didn't happen.
And then Ben comes back.
And Casper Smart was somewhere in the middle of all of that.
Yeah, Casper was.
He was somewhere-
after,
somewhere in the
Ben
middle.
Affleck.
So
Part one.
we did a documentary on J-Lo, on all of this stuff, on J-Lo and Ben, the warning signs before it all blew up.
Right.
And well, it did. I mean, and the word was that we got from like everybody we interviewed is she just falls in love so fast
She
and
loves
so
being in
hard
love.
that she doesn't let it kind of breathe to see how are we going to handle conflict.
So it sounds like she has learned something now, has decided. Wait, here's the thing.
It was
You know,
not definitive.
here's the
She did
thing.
not say definitive.
You don't
Yeah.
have to be married. She can find another relationship.
The bottom line is most people say she should not get married.
Not to be lost in the whole what she said. Did you see what she was wearing?
No, she's, undeniable. Undeniable. Beauty can be a curse.
Indeed.
So we hear.
Coming up.
All right, when we come back, an outrageous story, enraging story about one of the ICE raids here in Southern California and the U.S. Army veteran, George Redis, who was held by ICE for 3 days. He is a U.S. citizen. How in the world did this happen? He's going to be here to talk about this when we come back.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
Justin Timberlake made Portland kids' dream come true by joining a bike bus ride. And they always listen to Justin Timberlake.
Cry me a river when they fall. Yeah,
It's TMZ.
There's been a lot of discussion about an ICE raid that went down here in Southern California a few weeks ago. And obviously, this was at a weed farm in Ventura County, a town called Camarillo, just a little bit north of LA. And there was a lot of outrage about this raid and that there were some children that were taken.
Tear gas canisters
Tear gas
filed.
canisters, and there was a whole conflict there between citizens, residents out there, and the ICE agents. But there is a story that has not been told about that raid, and it is really upsetting when you hear what happened to a young man who was working as a security guard at that farm. His name is George Redis, and he's also an Army veteran, someone who has, put his life on the line for this country, and yet was detained by ICE
for 3 days.
3 days.
And the conditions are stunning. George also, we should say, American citizen, was detained.
Right.
So let's bring him on right now. George, welcome to TMZ Live.
Hi, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
So, George, why don't you set the scene for us? You were working last Thursday when ICE agents arrived.
No, so I was on my way to work. I was on my way to work like any other day. I had pulled up to the street where the farm is located at, and that is when I run into the protests, and I find out there's a protest happening and that ICE agents are there. So I pull up and I am met by this roadblock of ICE agents blocking the road. I get out my car to let them know that I'm a U.S. citizen, that I'm just trying to get to work at the farm. I work there. I'm not here to protest. I'm not here to fight you guys. I'm just here to get to work. I got a family to feed and I need to work. No matter what's going on, I have to. I need to work. I'm just trying to do my job, just like you guys are. They didn't care what I had to say. They ignored everything I had to say. They got upset. ICE agents approached me in an aggressive manner. So I got back in my vehicle, and that's when they surrounded my car, and multiple agents surrounded my car and started banging on my windshields, telling me to get out the car, telling me to leave, telling me to pull over to the side. They were all yelling conflicting orders, all yelling different things, like no one was in charge. They eventually broke my driver's side window. Immediately following breaking my window, they sprayed me with OC spray in the face and dragged me out of the car. They had multiple officers trying to detain me. There was an officer kneeling on my back and another one kneeling on my neck, all while my hands were already behind my back and the cuffs were already on.
So tell us after they... Yeah, they take you where and what happens?
They after they arrest me, they take me back to the farm, and I sit there for hours. And it's not until later on that night, maybe around 9:30, 10, that we get to a federal facility in downtown LA, and they just throw us in a cell. And Friday morning comes around, and they put me on suicide watch, and I was on suicide watch from Friday morning all the way until Sunday night when I was released.
What happened?
Yeah, why did they put you on suicide watch? Is there a reason?
So just kind of after talking with the psych and everything that was there, that was interviewing us, just after what I told them and everything, they felt it was the best for me to be placed on suicide watch. And yeah, just everything that happened that day and not knowing my situation or if I was ever going to get released or if my family knew where I was at. And missing my daughter's birthday on Saturday was just a lot. And it was a lot for me.
So my understanding is you were in for around 3 days. Did they ever come around and ask people, do you need medication? Did they ask people just about their general well-being?
No, they didn't care at all. I even asked them if I could shower because I was covered in OC and tear gas, and they said no.
Listening to your story, what's frustrating for me, and I can only imagine for you, is that you're sitting in this cell, you're missing your daughter's birthday, and you are there fully knowing that you are an American citizen. There's no reason for you to be there, and they at no point allowed you. Did they ask for your license? Did they not? Why did it take them 3 days to figure out that there's no reason for you to be there?
That's a very good question. They didn't ask me anything. They didn't ask me anything. They didn't give me a reason why I was there. They just threw me in a cell and threw away the key until someone said it was okay for me to get out.
Have you talked to anybody to push this? Because it's really outrageous.
Yes, I agree. I do plan on taking legal action. I plan on suing anyone who was part of that day, anyone who did anything wrong. I do plan on taking legal action against everyone. What they did wasn't right, and they shouldn't be allowed to do that to anyone. And it shouldn't happen anymore. And that's why I'm trying to share my story as much as possible to make sure this never happens again, and hopefully change comes out of this.
Got to tell you, a lot of people just say this in a very perfunctory way, but I really mean it. thank you for your service. You served in the military, you're an American citizen, and this is just outrageous. So we really appreciate the time.
Thank you, George.
Yeah, no problem. I really appreciate you guys for having me on here and helping me share my story. It means a lot to me.
Yeah, I absolutely.
Wow.
You know, no matter what you think about the ICE raids in general and immigration, you can have that debate.
This is wrong.
But what's wrong is when American citizens are being held for 3 freaking days.
And the way he was taken, the way he was treated, the fact that he said, I'm an American.
You can even get to even if you get to, all right, in the chaos of what was going on, they take him in. It doesn't take 3 days to know that this man is a veteran who does not belong behind bars.
And there's something about this suicide watch that should have given them a heads up. Something is wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to take a break.
Coming up.
Farrell filed late yesterday his own lawsuit against his former band members.
He's saying that Dave Navarro attacked him backstage and his wife.
Be right back.
All right, so we told you yesterday about Dave Navarro filing this lawsuit against Farrell over the Jane's Addiction reunion tour that blew up in Boston last September. They had a huge fight on stage. Farrell goes off, shoves Dave Navarro, then he gets tackled. Dave and the other members of Jane's Addiction sued Farrell yesterday. Late yesterday.
For assault and battery.
Yes. Late yesterday.
The other members sued for
They had to kill the tour, and they lost a lot of money.
Right.
Because of that.
Farrell filed late yesterday his own lawsuit against his former band members, and he says that what we saw on stage was just the start of what happened, because you saw everyone gather around him, and then he gets taken backstage. They all went backstage, and according to this lawsuit, there was a lot more violence that went on backstage.
So he's saying that Dave Navarro attacked him backstage and his wife.
His wife first. Perry said that he assaulting Perry's wife, and then when Dave did that, Perry went up to stop it, and he says Dave punched him, and that started the animosity.
Right.
Well,
that particular night.
But here's what I don't understand. It was after Perry attacked Navarro on stage.
By the way, there's an explanation for that also, which, listen, Eric and I talk a lot about music. By the way, I'm just going to do a little shameless plug. We have a podcast called Get to the Hook, where we talk about interesting things in music every week. And so we have a lot of these conversations.
We had one about this when it happened.
Yes, and we did cover this. What Farrell is saying in this lawsuit about why the fight started on stage, I've never heard a front man say this, that he was angry at Dave because Dave's amp was too high and he couldn't hear himself as he was singing. That's not on Perry or Dave, that's
the sound guy.
Right,
That particular complaint that artists have trouble hearing themselves in their ear monitor, that's all the time you see that. You see artists ripping it out because it doesn't sound good, or sometimes they'll yell, bring this up in my mic or whatever.
Yell to the sound guy,
but they
adjust
don't
it.
yell at the band members. It's not the guitar players playing
But here's
too
the
loud.
thing, even if it was Dave Navarro's fault, it does not justify Perry attacking Dave
but
and
I'm just
hitting
saying,
him.
it's a bizarre thing for a front man to say, but his amp is too
it's
loud,
not-
and then I'm going to come over and then I'm going to shove you.
It's not a defense.
Well, it's the least rock and roll thing also. I mean, the old phrase is if it's too loud, you're too old.
Maybe you shouldn't be on stage.
So
people are saying that Farrell is having a bit of mental health issues. You should give him a break. That was from Rick Puck.
Well, that was in the lawsuit that Dave and the other members filed against Perry. They did acknowledge that he'd been going through something, and we know that a week or 2 weeks after that fight last September, Perry's wife came out and said that he needs to get some neurological treatment. I mean, she wasn't specific about what it was.
Everybody kind of agreed he was going through some stuff.
This, to me, is a testament to the awesomeness of the Rolling Stones. No, I'm serious. 1963, this band stayed together from then until now. They had their rough spots.
And I'm a huge fan, and I hear what you're saying, and overall that's true. But they've definitely had rough spots where they just didn't play together for a while.
But they've never had this.
No.
Listen, the Beatles couldn't last a decade.
Actually, a band that held it together when they didn't like each other was Aerosmith. We did see Joe Perry and Steve Tyler pushing each other on stage. There was very obvious, palpable animosity.
That's true.
They held it together for the fans, and they're like, you know what? Whatever our issues are, if we're going to tour, we're going to play. And then when they got to the point they couldn't,
they did have a lawsuit at the end. Right?
Everything ends in lawsuits.
It looks like this horrific Air India crash a few weeks ago was an intentional act by the pilot. Everything is leading to that. You know that the preliminary report showed that both engines of this 787, which is the most recent, most technologically, sophisticated Boeing aircraft,
the Dreamliner,
never crashed before. That it got 650 feet in the air. The engines they stop, and the plane falls and then crashes into a building.
And what they've now discovered is from the cockpit recorder that there was a conversation between the pilot and the co-pilot. The co-pilot said, "Why did you cut off the fuel?" All of the fuel lines were cut off moments after takeoff.
No, not moments. The plane was only in the air a minute.
Right.
So it was at 650 feet at its height. Almost immediately after takeoff, the pilot, it turns out, is the one who shut down the engines. The co-pilot says, "Did you shut off the engines?" And he's panicked. And the pilot very calmly says, "No." Now, here's the evidence that now it's coming out from people who were around this pilot, who, by the way, had 15,000 hours in the air, so he was an experienced pilot, that he had taken a medical leave for mental health issues, suffered from depression, and those are real warning signs. The way to shut off an engine, it couldn't be accidental, the way this works.
It's literally made so that everything can be, there's so many guards up so that it can't be switched off accidentally. So there's the center console, and then there's each engine levers and a switch, right? And what you have to do is first make sure that the lever, the thrust lever, is put on idle. And then on the actual switch, there's actually like a stop lock mechanism. So like a pill bottle or something, you have to push and twist. You have to lift and twist to put it on.
And you have to do it for each engine.
For each engine.
So each engine requires these multiple acts of moving things around. The co-pilot took off. He's the one that took off.
Mm-hmm.
And so the pilot had time to do whatever he was going to do. The co-pilot's concentrating on flying the airplane, and all of a sudden he realizes something's wrong, and he said, "Did you shut this off?" He had to lift that little
the lever and then twist, lift and twist,
and lift and twist, and then lift and twist again.
We just released a poll, actually. We let our audience vote on what they think. Did the Air Indian pilot intentionally cause the crash?
Yes.
Who do you think? What do you think won? Yes or no?
They had to say yes with all the evidence.
78% said yes.
Yeah, there's very little question. No mechanical problem.
And there's no argument from, the pilot just very calmly,
He denies it.
No, I did not. But there's no effort from the pilot to try and turn this around.
Exactly.
The pilot's just sort of...
There's no way you can do that accidentally.
Exactly.
And it was definitely turned off, definitely turned back on. Couldn't have been done accidentally. And when you listen to the voice recorder, it's the co-pilot who's panicked. And the pilot is just calm about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And now this whole thing is coming out about depression.
Well, T-Baby, a commenter of ours, T-Baby, is saying they need to do mental health checks, but more often.
And maybe they need to do them more often. But they do actually do those mental health checks.
And when this happens, they always find their mental health issues, obviously, with 241 people here died.
Yeah.
One miraculously. And in my lifetime, I don't remember anything that was more of a miracle than this.
Coming up.
President Trump says it's the Democrats who won't let go of the Epstein files. Well, it's also Republicans, some of his staunch supporters. Among them, Congressman Tim Burchett. He's going to be here when we come back to talk about why he is willing to stand up to the president on the issue of Epstein.
Be right back.
Well, we have heard President Trump say enough already with the Epstein talk, enough talk about the files. Today, he had his press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, reamed the press room, berating them, saying, stop talking about this, that the mainstream media shouldn't be talking about it, that bloggers shouldn't be talking about it, and you reporters just stop all of this.
And they won't. They didn't.
And they won't. And the fact is, and this is what she kind of ignored, it is not just Democrats.
Well, that's what she said. She said this is
just Democrats.
She said that the media has the mainstream. In fact, it's really interesting. She said cable news. She really focused that.
Yes,
it's
she did say cable news.
Caroline, this is way bigger than cable news. Okay, cable news is not the point here. This is everywhere and not going away, but also not going away even with Donald Trump's own base and his supporters in Congress.
Right. A lot of his supporters want to find out. They want transparency here. And one of the Republican lawmakers who is leading the charge is Congressman Tim Burchett from Tennessee. We've talked to him several times, and he is joining us now to talk about this and why it's not just Democrats, but a lot of Republicans who want to see this file come out. Congressman, welcome back to TMZ Live.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate the introduction. When I was in the state legislature in Tennessee, I was in the state house for 4 years and the state senate for 12 years. I passed some of the toughest laws in the country.
We have done reporting, and we've spoken with two people in particular who have had access to parts of this file. And we are told no list, but a ton of names. And that Donald Trump's name is mentioned multiple times, and there's nothing untoward, at least we're being told by two very separate individuals. Nothing untoward, but I'm wondering, is that the motivation? Because he is acting in a very unusual way with this, because he wasn't talking about Epstein this way a few years back. So do you think it's just the optics of it that he's just doesn't want his own name mentioned, even if there's nothing that's untoward about it? What do you think the motivation here is behind what's going on?
I have no earthly idea. His strategy always baffles me, but he always wins. Like, case in point, last night we had this crypto bill. Right. It was doomed to failure. I was against it, and I had several others that were. We got in the room, and he talked to us and explained the situation and what we needed to do, and we figured out a very good compromise. But I don't know the compromise on this. I have no earthly idea. It is. It's not going away, though, I can tell you that.
You just said that the president talked to you last night to get votes for the crypto bill. Did he arm twist you guys on, or try to, on Epstein?
Never brought it up. Never brought it up.
So isn't that the next stage? I mean, it seems like the first step was saying that he just wants this to go away. He urged his supporters to stop talking about it. And then we had Caroline Leavitt today. But it seems like in the past, when necessary, he has not hesitated to say to lawmakers, hey, fall in line or else. And there's always the threat of a primary. And what if that is the next step that he takes with people who have been largely his supporters, and yourself included? What if that is the next step?
If it's directed towards me, I'll just be honest with you, and this might offend some people, but I'm a Christian. I'm not a very good one. I'm on the very forgiving end of the spectrum. But ultimately, I don't answer to anybody but my maker. And I would rather go there with a clear conscience, because when somebody asks me, what do you do for the least amongst you? I'm gonna tell them I beat somebody's ass, because I can't stand this stuff. It sickens me to my core. I can't tell you the people's lives that have been ruined. It's a life sentence for these people, and the dirtbags that do it. Honestly, death penalty, short, sweet. Let's get it on. I'm sick of it, and we got to send a message.
What I'm picking up from what you just said is that you think that certain people are being protected by not releasing that file, because it sounds like you think there's smoke and fire in there. Am I right?
I think there's smoke and fire, but I think we got to be real careful that, first of all, there's children involved and there's innocent people. And I think that's why you need some sort of special prosecutor. I'm not an attorney, that could come in and distinguish which is which, that needs to be released and which doesn't. Because the innocent people that flew, I mean, Trump flew on his plane. We all know that. But he didn't go to the island. He just flew from Florida to New York or back. Right. So, but if you just release his flight logs, some knucklehead like myself is just going to see his name on there and not know how to differentiate it. So I would caution people in that. We have a piece of legislation drawn up. I signed on with Thomas Massey out of Kentucky. That is in the hopper, as they say, and we'll see what happens with it because it provides some protection for those folks.
Okay.
All right.
So appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all always.
All right. Thank you very
Talk to you
much.
soon.
Ain't going away.
No, it just isn't.
Coming up.
This is the most unlikely thing I have seen in my office. If you went around our room and you wanted to pick the least likely person you would say, he's going to the Katy Perry concert, it's him.
Be right back.
Okay, let's end things with something fun.
You want to get to Katy Perry?
This is the most unlikely thing I have seen in my office. This is the most unlikely.
Oh, that part.
Oh, yeah.
Well, first we should point out what happened at the Katy Perry concert. She does a part of the show where she allows people to vote on a song she's going to do. The song that people picked was kind of a downer breakup song, and considering she's going through the breakup with Orlando.
And I'm going to try not to cry. Don't worry, I won't cry. It's called Not Like the Movies.
If you went around our room and you wanted to pick the least likely person you would say, he's going to the Katy Perry concert, it's him. Cameron.
It's not Charlie.
It's not Charlie. It's Cameron.
I've been a Katy fan for a long time. To me, it just seems completely staged. Like, she knew she was going to perform these two songs, but she wanted to make it a whole thing and be like, really? This is what you guys are going to make me do, is sing these sad, emotional songs? It was staged.
We will see you tomorrow.
All right. See you tomorrow.